Okay, hello everybody. This is Kathy again with the Msbarzone. Long time no see. I have a great new league that I want more information on from more or less people in the nightclub scenes in Chicago. And this time it's on the Defilipis Jr. case. And I have astonishing news telling me about, it seems to me there's been an FB message, Facebook message to one of the Defilipis members. And it's from a friend that was with Defilipis Jr. Okay, right before he disappeared. And it seems to me, I've been drawing stuff, doing my own storyboard sketches, and it seems to me that I drew a timeline, okay, that's a death timeline, and there's a conflict in the timeline. And I kind of want to go over where he says this right here. At first I thought that Mike's murder had something to do with the poker robbery because I received a call from the owner of the poker house. That would have been Mike Jabber, the boxer. I guess it has to do with Olympian or something or other boxer. He had a poker house, okay, who told me I should probably get out of my house. That was the night of the 23rd at 9 p.m. I never went back without an armed guard. I left 90% of my stuff behind, and I broke a lease and ended up moving. I found out a dead rat. I had a dead rat on my doorstep on around December 17th. Remember, this is all the month of 2009. And a funeral wreath in the front of my house on the day or two before that. So after Mike died, I never looked back. I like you. Do not trust anybody, and so on and so forth. I have a problem with the timeline with Defilipis Jr.'s best friend, Tom. He went night clubbing the night before, the whole week before. We started out with a poker game robbery that was at Mike Jabber's house. Both Defilipis Jr. and a friend, Tom, was at that poker robbery. And they both say the same thing. Tom and Mike Jabber say the same thing. That was almost robbed by gunpoint. Now, how do you almost rob a poker game by gunpoint? And I had spoken to Mike Jabber, okay, and asked him, and his reply was, well, they didn't get in. And then it was like I had to get a pry it out of him. You know, I had to really pry it out of him again and again. I had to contact him. And then he says, well, they didn't get in. I says, well, if they didn't get in, how do you know that they were robbing or they were to rob? He said because they were impersonating police officers. The wife says, well, how were they impersonating police officers? He said because they were wearing bulletproof vests. Okay? Now, they both say the exact same things, verbatim, word for word, on many issues, and then they contradict each other, too, also. Okay, December 17, 2009, a rat and wreath was put on Tom's doorstep. Tom was the last person that was with Defilipis Jr. up until 9 o'clock p.m. The 23rd, right? 21st. Well, I'll read to you a little while later that Tom and Defilipis went out night clubbing. It was nothing, no fears. And then at 9 o'clock, Jabber and Tom supposedly have talked according to Tom. Okay? And Jabber supposedly, according to Tom, on the 23rd told him that he would probably get out of town, 9 p.m. Well, the death certificate online says the 24th the guy was killed. I'm really skeptical and trying to figure it out. So I do storyboarding of things that happen. There's, according to Mike Jabber, a black girl. I just kind of do the picture. Why would a black girl? He says a black girl was with Defilipis at his poker game. Okay, and it's like he never says why. He doesn't know what her name is. He never says why he was there. I heard other things saying that the black girl was playing poker for Defilipis, and it's like, can you see that happening? And somebody says, well, maybe she was a prostitute. I don't know, but Jabber never explains why she was there. So why did Tom say that Defilipis started bringing a gun to the poker game? That's another thing, okay? Defilipis started. Now, this might have been a setup. It could be a confession from Tom that he felt so bad. And he's actually, if you think it's a confession, it could be. Because he's saying that on the 23rd, he has a whole timeline of events. that what he did from the 21st. I have down here from the 21st, Monday, was a great night. Mike picked me up, we went downtown, went to a couple nightclubs, Mike knew and drank. First of all, the only person that could tell you that Tom exists is Mike Jabber. He gave me a whole description. I have all this, I copied and pasted either in Facebook or in text messages. I had asked Mike Jabber in the text messages about Bartucci, because I got some sort of lead on the Catalano case, and I was trying to, because I don't know how to connect Mike Bartucci to the Catalano case, but Mike Bartucci from Elmwood Park was, in their teenage years, Defilipis' best friend, but I don't know in their later years. According to Mike Jabber, Mike Bartucci was working at a club called the Crowbar, and all these guys hung. And forget about the ecstasy pills that were brought to, sold. Forget about that. But he says he heard the name Bartucci all over town. That's because I had mentioned it, right? It's like he's a yes man. And I kind of drew the picture, trying to picture these guys wearing bulletproof vests. They both say they were black men, okay? And according to Mike Jabber, he went down personally and talked to the detectives himself and turned them in. Well, Tom says that he was in fear because he was the one that personally turned in the 3 black men that subsequently were busted. When I first talked to Mike Jabber, he had said that I had asked him, were they still in jail when the Phillips murder happened? And he said he had checked with the detectives, and the detectives told him, Mike Jabber, that yes, that they were still in jail at the time of the murder, and he just told me that like that. And it just seems really weird. I mean, the fact that there's a rat and wreath, maybe the conversation didn't happen between Tom at 9 p.m. in Jabber. Maybe the conversation about the rat and wreath happened when it happened. Maybe it was bookies. Maybe something like that took place. But remember that Jabber confirms the story about the rat and wreath on the doorstep. And I just have some notes here. I asked Mike Jabber where the poker house was at. He claims it was Division and Clybourne, right behind the Jewel, or it might be Dominic's, in the big house with the glass windows. You know what? Doesn't he know what his own place looks like? It's supposed to be in his house. He's telling me that some of the things I've been saying are 100% lies. He's trying to be, really innocent, but then he doesn't. He evaded the family. He evaded me. He won't give me proper information. Who is the black girl? What were they hanging out? Or was it a girlfriend? He doesn't know anything about a 5-year relationship. Jabber claims he was at the funeral. I need to prove that yet. Oh, I asked him, was it a bad neighborhood? Because I asked him, where these black men come from? He says that they were probably watching us. They were probably watching us. It could be that the black girl has a guy set up. It could be that. But he gives me no information. Here it says, Mike Jabber, definitely a bad hood. Yes, Division and Clybourne, right? Okay. And yes, they were colored. Okay, they could have just seen people always walking in and out, or someone at the game, and have easily tipped them off, but that didn't get, but they didn't get in and were arrested. So if they didn't do anything wrong, just how badly, because look at the timeline. The rat and wreath was like the 16th, the 15th, the 17th, something like that. The poker game was sometime before that. And then murder was the 24th. Okay? So the thing is that, it says, this is from Mike Jabber, I was the one to go down to the police station and file a report to press charges. So anyone that says I had anything to do with it is full of, guy talk, whatever. And the thing is that it's like Tom is trying to do a timeline on Jabber, and Jabber's trying to do a timeline on Tom. And the thing is that, it could be a third party out there, but they would have had to have known about the poker game, because Tom says the exact thing. He says that he was the one that turned in the poker robbers. Okay? And, you know, there's just a lot of stuff here that I'm trying to understand who did happen or what where, okay, about anything, okay? And he is completely evasive, and he's a yes man. He doesn't give you much information to work with, and he starts accusing me. Another time he says that I never said that I brought a gun to the poker game. Just ask anybody who was at the poker game. Okay, how am I going to find them? Okay, and I never did accuse him of bringing a gun to the poker game. It was Tom that said that Mike Defilipis Jr., the murdered person, was afraid, and so he started bringing a gun to the poker game. See, why is Jabber so? He uses evasive language here, and it doesn't make sense. He tried to make me consider the fact that Bartucci had worked at a nightclub called the Crowbar. Now, if we could prove some of this, we have all one-lighters. Some of this, maybe we can say only Tom did it, or maybe somebody else is trying to set up both Tom and Mike Jabber. You know, and the fact that a book bag of pills was left behind, maybe they knew that, you know, Defilipis was into the pill game and stuff like that, and totally kind of tried to set up the doctor that they talk about that he's buying his pills from. It could be something like that. You know, so, I mean, we need more answers from the people at the nightclubs. Okay, like, to give you an example, who is Tom? Who did Tom ever come in with Mike Defilipis Jr.? They had enough time also, according to the timeline, to go to the casino. It's called the Horseshoe Casino, and then come back at 6 a.m. They were best buddies and best pals. It sounds more like a confession, but we don't know. The poker game was robbed, okay, and Tom is running. And who is he running from? When I confronted Mike Jabber about how the robbers were impersonating police officers, he said that they were wearing bulletproof vests. Now, that makes no sense to me. I mean, I think that it sounds like it just doesn't make sense. And we need more people in the nightclub area that know, from Elmwood Park, that know if Bartucci actually worked at the Crowbar. We know at least to substantiate Jabber's claims. He's the last man standing. He could care less. It doesn't bother him. They both say that they talk to the detectives, but the detectives, Chicago Police Department, won't talk to the family and won't answer the phone. Maybe it is bookies. I don't know. Maybe that's why they won't answer the phone. But the thing is that we can't get an answer, and I want to go public with all of this to try to figure out what exactly happened and why would Tom, in his timeline, would actually say, oh, Tom never mentions that there was a black girl. He never mentions anything like that. Jabber, in one of the things that he's accusing me of, he's saying that I drew a picture and that I accused him of drawing the picture. It's like all evasive language. Here, I'm going to read it. It says, and that drawing is a complete lie. WTF. You are making things up and lying to people. I never drew a picture. Nonetheless, this picture you are claiming I drew. I never once, he says this is nuts. I never once said he drew the picture. I never once said that. It's all evasive language. You know what I'm saying? How the cops think, how they use psychological, where it's the opposite. People, they say reverse and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm trying to understand what's going on. There has been talk online. He's on thedirty.com. A lot of people say he's liars. A lot of people have come forward and say he's a snake. But I don't have anybody telling me but Mike Jabber of the existence of Tom. What if Tom doesn't exist because the Defilipis family have never known a Tom to be around their son? Just suddenly, and this was in 2010, he died in 2009, they received, for a few months, like about maybe 6 weeks, these messages back and forth. And the thing is that then the guy disappeared and he changed his name to a movie star's name in Facebook. We haven't, because they believed it, you know, and the mothers were sick and everything, well, you know what, they never got the IP address. We still have it. Right? The account is still there on Facebook. They never got the IP address, okay? And the detectives won't answer the phone. And Jabber's saying it's all made public, you know, the evasive language, how it works, and it's all just check. I talked to the detectives, and as Tom said, he came into town and he flew back to talk to the detectives and stuff like that. All I'm saying is that why is he saying on the 23rd at 9 p.m. when the guy wasn't pronounced dead until the 24th? Okay? That he was with him all week. And then the rant and read, it doesn't sound right, right? Am I not correct? But then Jabber confirms it. I'm just saying, what if Tom doesn't exist? What if Tom is Jabber? I don't know. This is a conversation in Facebook. It's something that should be brought to the FBI. And, you know, it's something that we need people in the nightclub area. I understand that Jabber was once, he was working at Castle. People that know about this. We first have to know that Tom exists. We need to prove that Tom exists, and maybe, just maybe, Mike Jabber's telling the truth. We need to prove him to tell the truth, and then we need to find Tom. Tom says a lot of things in here. There's that he you know, he had the it's right here. It says I visited 2 or 3 times back. That he found out that who might have set up the game. I'm thinking that he thought Tom set it up, or somebody setting the both of them up, one or the other. But we need people to come forward. Here, right here, it says Mike said that he was starting his own poker game, and he wanted to go to Mike Jabber. I have no clue what the deal was, but I had a dead rat put on my doorstep and a funeral wreath outside my house. I had told everyone my concern, and Jabber called me the night they found Mike and told me I should get out of my house because it could be the robbery guys. So, first he says it was the 23rd. Then he says, how long would it take for the cops to contact somebody? Who called him? Who say? It says they called him. Who say? Maybe the cops called him. They wouldn't have called him the 24th, 25th, 26th, long after. Why is he giving the dates of the 23rd? And on the obituary online, it says that he was pronounced dead on 24th, 2009. See, there's wishy-washy. Maybe Tom's setting up Jabber. Why bother? But the problem is that Jabber throws in a red herring. He doesn't jive in anything he says. Okay, and that's where the problem lies, is that he's the only person left for answers. And everybody says that he's a BSer, and then I found out. I don't have a straight answer, but then I need to check out his answers. What if he's telling the truth? I don't have any way. He says Bartucci, he heard the name Bartucci all over town. He sounds like a really popular guy. That he worked at Crowbar once. You know, I mean, I'm trying to figure out who else knew that happened. So let me know. This is the first of the Defilipis new leads. Please let me know what your answers are out there at the nightclubs in Chicagoland.